I'm about to make a hot sauce with all of the peppers, not just chili peppers. We're talking black pepper, white pepper, both red and green Sichuan pepper, and Indonesian long pepper. And what's more, I'm not using any specialist equipment, no fancy jars with fermentation lids, no vacuum sealers, just a simple snap lock bag. It's a super simple technique for fermented hot sauce that you can use at home. It should be a good one, so let's get snacking. So today I really wanted to make a hot sauce, but it's a public holiday and all of the shops are closed, which means I'm pretty limited on ingredients. But I love a good challenge and I figured this was a great opportunity to see what I can pull together with things simply from my cupboard and from the garden. Through my last few hot sauce videos, I've accumulated quite a good collection of different types of pepper. I've raided my pantry and I found an onion, so that'll be a good place to start. Now let's head out to the garden to see what else I can find. My tomato vines are looking a little bit sad and worse for wear, but they are still pushing out the last few tomatoes of the season, and I don't want them to go to waste, so they're going to be my next ingredient. Nice. Okay, let's see, we've got 7-pot dougalas. Yeah, too spicy. Peach ghost. Yeah, also probably too spicy. Carolina Reapers, definitely too spicy and still quite green. Scotch bonnets. They should be just about right. Too spicy for you. Good boy. And a few cloves of garlic, fresh off the tree. So I've ended up with about 150 grams of cherry tomatoes, 1 decent sized onion, 4 cloves of garlic, and a couple of Scotch bonnets. These are pretty hot, so I'm thinking between the heat of the chili and the pepper combined, 2 is probably going to be more than enough. Normally for my fermented hot sauces, I'll use a fermentation jar like this one, which has a built-in airlock in the lid. They're really great and simple to use, especially if you're just starting out with fermentation. The one drawback to these is that the fermentations tend to be most healthy when the jar is pretty full, which is fine if you're looking to make a few bottles worth of hot sauce, but sometimes I like to make a smaller batch. And when I do that, I skip the jar and the brine and I go to vacuum bags instead. It's another really simple solution for smaller batches. But not everyone has fermentation jars and not everyone has a vacuum sealer. If you're looking to get into fermentation, they're really good things to have. I'll put a link in the description to the ones that I use, but if you're not ready to spend the money on these just yet, in this video, I'll show you how to do it cheaply and cheerfully using a simple snap lock bag. So before we get too far ahead, I'm going to weigh the bag, which weighs about 12 grams. And I'm just going to write that down so that I don't forget. And then to prep the bag, I'm just going to fold the top over itself. This will just make sure that as we add the ingredients, we leave a nice clean area at the top of the bag. Ideally, we want all the fermentation ingredients to be sitting nice and neatly in the bottom. So for the vegetables, I'm not going to be too fussy. I do want to chop them up a little bit, but they don't need to be particularly even or even particularly fine. Just into rough chunks. That should do nicely. So now our chopped garlic goes into the bag, and next I'm just going to roughly dice our onion. Then they can just go into the bag too. So for the tomatoes, I just want to cut each one in half. And rather than doing it one by one, I find the quickest way to do this is to do them all at the same time by putting them between the lids of 2 deli containers, using that to hold them in place, and then you can slice across, getting all the tomatoes in half at the same time. And then into the bag they go. Now Scotch bonnets are pretty hot, so I should probably wear gloves, but I really can't be bothered putting them on. So I'm just going to very roughly chop these without touching them. Similar to the garlic, they don't need to be particularly fine or particularly even, just hack them into chunks. Then, if I'm really careful, without touching them, I should be able to scrape them all into the bag without touching anything with my hands. And don't forget the old adage, if you're cooking with chili, don't touch your eyes or genitalia. So now for our medley of peppers, I've got 1.5 teaspoons of black peppercorns, 1.5 teaspoons of white peppercorns, 10 long peppers, and 1 teaspoon each of red and green Sichuan peppercorns. So now that all of our ingredients are in the bag, we can give it away. And that's 463 grams. So 463 grams minus the 12 grams of the bag gives us 451 grams. I find about 2.5% is a pretty good ratio for salt for most ferments. So if I multiply that by 0.025, that means I need 11.275 grams of salt. So now finally we can add our salt to the bag and then give everything a really good mix. Now there's a couple of different ways to get the air out of this. Some people use water displacement, so you get a big pot of water, dunk the bag in. As the water surrounds the bag, it will naturally press out a lot of the air, and then you can seal the top. I've seen some people stick a straw in and suck the air out as well. I think both of those methods work pretty well, but I actually find you can get a pretty good result by just squeezing as much of the air out as possible. Let me show you what I mean. So if I take my bag, unsealed, and with all the ingredients down the bottom, I can use my hand to really squish them down into the base as much as possible. And give them a really good squeeze, making sure to sort of push the corners and get all of the air out. Don't be afraid of squishing or bruising the ingredients. It's all going to get really mushy during the fermentation anyway. Give that a really good squeeze. And then once you've got most of the air out, you can see you're squeezing a lot of the juice out as well. We can start to give it a roll. As you're doing it, you're pushing all of the air out towards the top of the bag. A lot of the juice will follow as well. So just be cautious and move slowly. When you get towards the top and you can see some of the juice is getting near the seal, that's when I like to start sealing and seal it almost all of the way across. So we've still got a little bit of a gap where air can escape at this end. And continue right up until we can see all of the liquid starting to hit the seal most of the way along. And I'll try to work from this end where the seal is shut towards the other end where the air can still escape. And just before the juice starts to come out, we'll seal the last little bit. There we go. So as you can see, pretty much all of the air has been removed. It's not quite as effective as having done it with a vacuum sealer, but for our purposes, that's pretty good. And I'm terrible for forgetting how long things have been fermenting for, so to prevent that, I'm going to make sure I add the date. That way I know 2 weeks from today, this should be ready to go. Alrighty, so I'll pop this in a dark place at room temperature for probably about 2 weeks. I'll keep checking on it every couple of days just to make sure it looks healthy and no spoilage is occurring. Fermentation can be a little bit variable based on temperature, but I usually find that 2 weeks is a pretty good sweet spot. By that time, it should have developed some good flavour, a little bit of acid, and should be just right for turning into sauce. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Now this is my bag after about 6 days. It's puffed up quite a bit with the gases from the fermentation. It smells very garlicky, very peppery, and it's starting to get a little bit of a funky edge. So I'm just going to have a quick look to make sure there's no spoilage. And if it looks okay, I think I'm going to call this done and make it into sauce. It's quite hard to get a shot of this bag without reflection. But if I roll this around, I'm not seeing any mold. There's a few little spots of green which have me a little bit concerned, but I'm pretty confident that they are just the green peppercorns. I think it's time to turn this into sauce. So I'm just going to pop open the bag and pour all of the contents into a saucepan. Now at 2.5% salt, the seasoning on this should be pretty much right, but it will need a good hit of acidity. So I'm going in with 1/3 cup of vinegar. And to balance everything out, about 1 tablespoon of sugar. So I'm going to bring this to a gentle boil for about 10 minutes. Ah, damn it. Oh well, let's just pretend that didn't happen. So now that that's all cooked down and everything's nice and soft, I'll blend it as smooth as I can. I'm blending in about 1/8 teaspoon of xanthan gum to keep the texture smooth and shiny and to keep the final sauce nice and stable. Then I'll pass it all through a sieve to strain out any remaining chunks so that the final sauce is nice and smooth and glossy. Then into some clean bottles, and that's our finished sauce. I'll give that a couple of weeks in the bottle for the flavours to blend and mellow and mature, and then we'll give it a taste test. And you know what that means? Bring on the dino nuggies. Roar, 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 roar. Get a nice generous dunk. That is really tasty. It's got a really nice savoury tomato flavour, which is kind of amplified by the fermentation. The heat is moderate and fairly balanced, which is kind of what I was going for. And the complex combination of peppers comes through really nicely too. Again, it really emphasises those savoury umami flavours. It's a little bit floral. It balances the chili heat really nicely. The heat from the chili sits towards the back of the palate, but the pepper brings a little bit of heat towards the front. There's a hint of that sort of numbing sensation from the Sichuan peppercorns, but really subtle. Overall, it's a really moorish sauce, and I'm going to have to go back for some more. If you haven't seen my other pepper hot sauce videos, check out this one, which features strawberries and long pepper, and this one, which features Sichuan peppercorns. They're both really tasty, and I'll see you next time.